Hi, Dr. Taylor. This is Mr. Davies from Bayonne. I have two questions from students. The first question is from why do you enjoy jazz?
Okay. Why do you enjoy jazz, Chimp?
I enjoy jazz because you can incorporate all the things that you learn in music, bring your own personal contribution to jazz. If you want to be funky, you can be funky. If you want to be subtle, you can be subtle. If you want to be lyrical, you can be lyrical. I think jazz is the most opportunity to put in your own personal freedom. Seems like other musics, like classical music, you have to play what the composer wrote. If I'm playing in a pop rhythm section, I have to play the groove only. Seems like in jazz, I can really make much more of a personal contribution as part of the group. And that's why I find it the most exciting music to play.
Okay, and one more question?
Yes.
How many hours a day do you practice?
Most of the musicians I know, and including myself, when I was growing up, high school age, I would say I put in a minimum of 4 hours a day, most likely 6, and always on the weekend about 8 hours per day. And I find that most of my friends went through a similar period, and there was several years in a row where they put in an average, let's say about 6 to 8 hours a day. An interview, a tape of Paul Desmond, another great saxophone player, interviewing Charlie Parker. And he asked Charlie Parker that same question. And Parker described his day at a certain point. And at that time in his life when he was practicing 16 hours a day.
I was wondering, who did Charlie Parker listen to develop his personal style of expression?
Charlie Parker listened to any number of people. When he was coming up in Kansas City, there were people like Lester Young who were often playing in Kansas City with Basie Band and other bands. I met Charlie Parker later when he was with the Earl Hines Band. And at that time, the guys who traveled on the bus, they complained a lot because Charlie Parker would get scores from Stravinsky and people like that. And he would look at things in the score and try to figure, well, gee, that's interesting. That's an interesting phrase. And look how he used that and see how that balances against another melody. And he began to listen to things like that, Rites of Spring and things like that. And you could hear that in his work. He also listened to the music that went on before him, people like Sidney Bechet and many other musicians who played in the New Orleans style. He liked that. And he knew some of those tunes. He would sometimes go and jam with them. So he was influenced by a lot of people who went before him and a lot of people who played different styles of music, like European classical music. He put all of that together and devised his own way of making a musical statement.